All right. Welcome to the meeting, everybody. Happy Thursday. Right off the bat, we're going to have Cindy go over the weekly tip, how to approach a page when designing and focusing on Detroit Lakes cover. She is working on getting signed in as we speak. While she gets ready, the style guide feature is actually pretty short. So I'll just go over that first while Cindy gets her computer ready to go. And the style guide feature today that we wanted to go over was avoiding profanity. This is something that all of you should have set up on your computers. But I wrote down the instructions and I'll include them in the email that gets sent out afterward. But just as a refresher, of course, making sure that you have in your user dictionary that you have the list and the removed words list. We actually have a text file with a bunch of swear words and horrible words. Just I think the best example is public and pubic. Avoiding embarrassing things like that could happen on a page. And the nice thing about it is when you set this up, just like dynamic spelling, I believe, things are going to have the squiggly line, red or green, and it's going to be easier for you to catch when you're doing those pages. Cindy, are you all set up? Are you ready to present? We'll give Cindy a couple more minutes. I'll go ahead and go over the couple topics that we needed to address. It's actually things that I don't even need to go over myself. I'm going to go let Michael take it over. He was going to go over the weather pages just to give Cindy plenty of time until she gives us the go ahead that she's ready to go. Michael, do you want to address the weather pages information that you wanted to go over? Is Michael even here? He's not showing up on my screen. Is Michael even here? You're doing great today.
He's everybody. Not here yet. Let's skip to me. There he is. Okay, but let's skip to me.
Alicia, you go, please.
Okay, I just put a poll in there for all of you. I am training reporters starting next week on some things that they can be doing to make our jobs easier in terms of how they write headlines, including things like pulled quotes, art, all kinds of things like that. And so I'm just curious as to all of your thoughts on what would make things the best for you, which you'd most like to see, so which I should most focus on. I want to just touch a little bit on the holiday stuff. Emma emailed out all the summer and Labor Day holiday. We do not have the end of the year holidays figured out yet. And that is simply because so many of you prioritized those end of the year holidays. We had an awful lot of people who all want Christmas off. And we don't really know yet what those holidays are going to look like. And so I'm trying to talk with the presses to figure out what we actually need. Those holidays are not on print days this week. Christmas is a Saturday. New Year's Day is also a Saturday. And so I would assume that probably the 23rd and the 30th is when we're going to be doing the bulk of the work. But I'm working on figuring that out with presses because it might well be that on actual Christmas Day, we'll have, like maybe 24 pages that we actually need to design live that day, which would mean that we could have an awful lot more of you off than, what we would normally plan for under the circumstances we've had the past several years. So we just want to figure that out and then be able to tell you guys what's going on then. So we'll get that to you as soon as we possibly can. And we're keeping track of which order you requested things in so that we can give the most of you those days off as possible. We just don't want to promise anything now and then potentially have to rescind it. On a happier note, I want to tell you all that you're doing a fabulous job with the quality control benchmarks that we rolled out. I'll be sending March benchmarks out probably early next week because I'm off tomorrow. But I'm impressed with the change from the beginning of the month to the end. At the beginning of the month, or at the end of February, when we first started tracking these, we had a number, a significant number every single day of errors of the ones that we picked that we were going to track. And that dropped off precipitously. And there's been a lot fewer errors. And I am pleased at that. Pleased for all of you, because of course I love to give you money and I want you all to get that bonus. But I just really appreciate it. That was the goal of rolling out those benchmarks, was to help us really focus on those errors so we could eliminate them. And as I said before, not to be punitive, and it's having the effect that we really wanted it to have. And I'm very, very pleased about that. So thank you all. I appreciate you. I will let me show everyone the results and end the poll here. That's very close to a unanimous decision that you all would like multiple headline options. So noted. And the more design elements person, whoever you are, I'm going to address that too. So don't worry, I still got you.
Okay, I'm here. If you can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you, Cindy.
Okay. So, sorry for the delay. Can you see my screen?
I cannot. Okay.
Oh, how about now?
There you go.
Sorry for the delay. I was so busy working and having fun that I didn't get my act together. Anyway, as they said, I'm just presenting on how I typically approach EL front and jump. So first, what I do is, obviously, I look at the budget just to get an idea of how long each of the stories are that are designated for the front. Typically, DL stories are quite lengthy, and so I take a look at the jump spaces on the pages also to see what space is available. And DL is pretty flexible as far as placing type on the main photos on their centerpiece, either the headlines or the cut lines, and in the placement of the flag and folio. As you can see there. And then, of course, just to break up the text and add interest to the page, I may add a secondary photo or full quote, something to develop a little more interest. I also try to balance the placement of the photos, like I'm sure you all do. And you'll notice, like with the centerpiece here, I put a light color. I don't know if you can see that very well. But if I don't go the whole 5 or 6 columns under the centerpiece, I add maybe a light color behind it. Like here I did a light blue, or like Emma suggested before, to put like a 1-point border around the centerpiece story. And then I just was going to show some different examples that I've done over the time. Some of these pages were done before the label was changed, and but I just wanted to show some kind of fun pages I worked on. Get rid of that. And now we're spinning. And now I'm froze up, of course. Yeah, I'm froze. See, I've been having a lot of trouble with Photoshop recently, with it freezing, unfortunately. And IT is working on that with me, but we don't have any real solutions until I have some time when I'm not working to go over some preferences with them. So sorry about that. This is what I typically have to do. And then restart. Kind of frustrating. Let me see if I can add a few more. Yeah, here's another page. I like it when there's a few more elements. And, you know, for sure, when we have more interesting photos to work with, it makes for better pages and more interest. And we don't always get that, especially I've noticed during COVID when a lot of their photos are submitted now. You guys have probably noticed the same thing. This is one I did after the new labeling, and it does change at the bottom, so it's not always the same each week, but that's just, I guess that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for going over those.
I have a question. Cindy,
Yeah.
I noticed that you do a lot of colors in headlines or with elements that you put on there. How do you pick which colors you're using when you do that?
Well, I keep two things in mind. One, I try to match something from the photo if possible. Like here on the Jake's heart, I brought out the blue and the red from inside the picture. But I also try to keep in mind that this is on newsprint. So I try to use bright colors that are going to pop more on the newsprint, such as red, orange, maybe a dark purple. It depends on the background too. But that's kind of my style.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions for Cindy? Well, thank you again for going over that with us, Cindy. I think that's just really good to highlight, especially highlight publication too. So you can kind of give your ins and outs of all of that. But obviously, people can always go to Cindy and get her input if you're ever working on the Detroit Lakes cover. And the last thing we had to go over was just Michael was going to go over the weather. So if Michael, you wanted to take it away. He needs just a minute. Let's just stare at the lizard.
Okay, well, we give him a minute. I'll bring up the thing that I forgot earlier because I'm having a week, y'all. It's fine. I'm going to be sending out a form probably right after this meeting that I need you all to fill out, ideally by the end of this week. It's just a quick, couple of check boxes about if you'd prefer to stay working from home, if you'd rather come back to the office, if you want a hybrid, what technology you're currently using, what technology you'd need, and then if you have anything else that you wanted to add about that. I have a meeting on Monday to talk with some higher ups in the company about how we do this moving forward, and I want to keep those of you working from home who want to work from home, working from home. That was sort of English. You all know what I mean. So I just need your input on what you're looking for, so I know what the percentages are, and I can say the whole team wants to work from home, and I want to let all of them. So leave everybody alone, or whatever it is. So I just need that information. So as soon as that email drops in, if you could just fill it out right away, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Is Michael totally gone from this meeting now?
Yeah, it looks like he just left. I don't know if he had to he was having issues and he had to restart. Oh, there he is.
I'm so sorry. Google decided it didn't like my new password. I apologize for that. Sorry.
No worries. We're ready for you whenever you are.
All right. Well, yep. Just let me pull one up quick. Sorry about that. Did not expect that to take that long. Sorry. I've just been getting in trouble all day at this meeting today, huh? It was like 30 seconds late and everything. All right. Here. Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me and see this? See the weather screen? All right. So one of the things that I wanted to go over was finding the rise and the set for the moon. This is something that we've been having a lot of problems with, so I just wanted to make sure that we went over it one more time. So I sent out an email about this too, if anybody has any questions about it, or you can just ask me. This isn't necessarily a problem right this second if you go to April, because they seem to now all be back on the same day, but we'll run into this problem again as it keeps fluctuating over time. So the first thing that we want to do, given any given day, is we want to work on the publication day. I'm not currently doing that right this second because I need to show this example, but so not the date right now, but the publication date. So the next day, okay? The first thing we do is we need to locate the rise. That'll be the first part of the information on the page. So we have to make sure that we're locating the rise. One thing that I've been telling people recently is we don't ever want to go back. This is previous. So this is all already happened, right? So we want to take the rise, okay? And we want to go to the right. So since there's no set here, there's no set to the right, we need to go to the next day. So this would be the correct set for the previous day. Okay. So one more time. So we need to locate the rise. That'll be the first thing that we run into, right? So the first thing, once you find it, find the rise and always go to the right. Okay. If you don't see a set, that means we need to go to the next day. Okay. So when we go to the next day, then we need to locate the set. So this is for the previous day. It just means that it's after midnight. So after midnight would be the next day. When it goes to the next day, please make sure that we're putting the date, right? So we need to make sure that, let's say it goes over to the next day. So for today, we'd be looking at information for the second. And then if it goes to the next day, we would want to do moonrise. Let's say it's 12:01 a.m. and then have it say April 4th. Like we don't want to do Sunday or Tuesday or anything like that. Like make sure that we're using the correct day. So I've sent out an email about that has a little bit of better visualization than my poorly planned presentation. So I can share that again with everybody, or I can post it in the design channel right away here so that people can take a look at it and let me know if there's any questions. Yep, cool. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I tried to use like circles and not to go back and stuff like that. One thing that I noticed is people are definitely doing it correctly, but they're not adding the date at the end. So I would just like to ask that we add that just out of clarity. Some of them are a little tight in the space, so just try to make it work the best you can. If there's any questions, just let me know. Thanks. Not waiting for me, are we? We're good? What's happening? Good?
All right. Anybody have anything else you wanted to bring up or share? Questions? Anything? All right. We'll go back to work then. Thank you all.